The Wire is one of the greatest and most informative shows to ever air on television. It's a show that explores the ins and outs of a real-life American city, and more importantly, all that is wrong with it. From the corrupt police departments to the dying docks and to the drug-polluted streets, The Wire shies away from nothing. And it does so in its attempt to answer the question of, what the fuck is wrong with America, and why can't nobody do anything to fix it?
The city is worse than when I first came on.
Now, The Wire sets itself up in a very unique way, as each individual season, rather than just extending a singular story about a singular set of characters, The Wire uses each season to explore a different institution responsible for the poisoning of Baltimore. Season 1 explores the police department alongside the drug trade, Season 2 the docks, Season 3 City Hall, Season 4 the schools, and Season 5 print media, all of which knowingly and unknowingly spread their incurable diseases onto one another. And all are ultimately set up in a way so to forever perpetuate this cycle of despair and corruption in Baltimore. Now, one of the many geniuses people seem to have missed when watching The Wire, me included at one point, was that the introduction to each season actually served to encapsulate the central theme that season was going to go on to explore. Season 2 is all about the death of work in America, and the opening scene is a powerful testament to that.
My father used to work there.
Best steel?
In the shipyards there, yeah.
I had an uncle who was a supervisor there. Got laid off in '78 though.
73 for my dad.
Season 3 is all about reform and the unexpected blowback to what in theory seemed like a good idea. The season's introduction encapsulates that.
Reform is not just a watchword with my administration, no, it's a philosophy.
Shit, man, no matter how many times you get burnt, man, you just keep on doing the same.
Season 4 is all about the importance of educating people not via a one-size-fits-all type curriculum, but rather educating people based on what they already understand.
Now, you understand what I mean by recoil?
Yeah, the kickback. I wish.
That's right.
27 caliber, huh?
And finally, Season 5 is all about the manipulation of a narrative, and how sometimes a lie, even one as big as a fake serial killer, can oftentimes be more effective than the truth.
The bigger the lie, the more they believe.
Now, you may all be wondering why I haven't gone over the introduction to Season 1. And that's because Season 1's introduction, unlike the others, doesn't actually encapsulate the central theme of that season. Rather, it encapsulates the central theme of the entire show. Let me explain. We open on streaks of blood lit up by flashing police lights chilling in the middle of the road. We're revealed to a dead body, a puddle of blood leaking from its back. A nearby police officer bags a bullet, and a group of black children watch on from the front steps of their house. As Brother Mouzone later tells Lamar,
"We are in Baltimore, Lamar. Baltimore, Maryland."
Jimmy McNulty sat alongside a nameless witness watched this scene unfold from afar. And after some discussion over the origins of Snot Boogie's terrible nickname, our witness finally tells McNulty what exactly happened to Snot. He explains to McNulty that every Friday night they would play in the local craps game, and after a few rolls when the pot of money they were gambling was large enough, Snot Boogie would snatch all the money and try to make a run for it. And every time Snot Boogie did what he did, he would be chased down and beaten. McNulty, being the inquisitive sort that he is, asks our witness the oh-so-obvious question of,
If every time Snot Boogie would grab the money and run away, why'd you even let him in the game?
Perplexed for whatever reason by this question, our witness replies that he's got to.
This America, man.
Now, in order to truly understand this scene, we first need to break it down into 3 different parts. We need to delve into 1, the tale of Snot Boogie and all that it represents, 2, McNulty's reaction to the tale, and 3, the drastic change in reaction to Snot Boogie robbing the pot. Now, first is the tale of Snot Boogie, which I interpreted as a microcosm for the show's central theme, which is that of rejecting the notion of the American dream. This idea that despite one's best efforts, we all ultimately fall victim to being shaped and constrained by failing and corrupt institutions. And the people in positions of power within these corrupt institutions tolerate those at the lower levels of the system so long as their actions don't threaten to change the current arrangement of power. And if somebody like Snot Boogie does arise from beneath and actually threaten those at the top, or they can just use their power to dispose of him. Thus, the tale of Snot Boogie serves to be an example of the illusion of the American dream, where because it's America, the country of supposed freedom, we've got to at least let Snot Boogie play. However, we're not afraid of him succeeding in robbing the game, and or achieving the supposed American dream.
Snot Boogie always stole the money. Why'd you let him play?
Got to. This America, man.
Now, there are actually equivalents of Snot Boogie in almost all the lower levels of these corrupt institutions. People who the higher-ups know are going to try to disrupt the game, yet are tolerated simply because this is America. We got to at least pretend like they have a shot. For example, Thomas Carcetti could be considered a Snot Boogie in the beginning of Season 3. He, through Burrell, attempts to stir some shit with the mayor who says bring it on, as Royce is under the impression that Carcetti has no chance when it comes to sitting in his chair. So why not let him play?
Not me, not my chair, not in this town. Oh no, if the guy came off any whiter, he'd be see-through. But if that's it, come on with it. In fact, please, Jesus.
Jimmy McNulty and Cedric Daniels are allowed to play with their own crime unit until they actually begin to threaten those in power. And then their little operation is shut down and they, like Snot Boogie, essentially get executed. As mentioned, such is the illusion of the American dream. You can play so long as you don't threaten the existing power structure. Shit, they'll even, like they did Bunny Colvin, give you a second chance to try out your experiments, because they know you aren't really going to change anything.
When did this shit change?
Now, McNulty reacts to this tale by asking what every failing institution on the wire should be asked. If you know Snot Boogie is every time going to try to rob the game, why keep letting him play? And the crazy answer is that of not just because this is America and we've got to, but rather because that's the way things have always been done. And this is the very thing that drives McNulty insane over the course of the show, as he's the only character asking this question. Why do the higher-ups in the BPD tolerate the major crime unit working a case they know could eventually reveal dirt about them? Why is the school system making room for Bunny Colvin's experiment despite knowing that it'll never work? Well, because these institutions are so committed to forever perpetuating their own business-as-usual approach, despite it making absolutely no sense. And McNulty's the only one who seems to see that.
If half of you had the fucking balls to follow through, you know what would happen? A guy like that would be indicted, tried, and convicted. And the rest of them would back up enough so we could push a clean case or two through your courthouse. But no, everybody stays friends, everybody gets paid, and everybody's got a fucking future.
Now, David Simon, the creator of The Wire, also uses the tale of Snot Boogie as a sort of metaphor for the circular logic of the drug war. Let me explain. You see, Snot Boogie has always robbed the card game, just like how some people have and always will do and sell drugs. In the past, Snot Boogie would receive a beating for robbing the game, just like how those who did or sold drugs might have received a warning or light punishment. One day, however, the penalty got much harsher, and instead of beating Snot Boogie, somebody went as far as to kill him. Just like how instead of warning or lightly punishing drug users, one day somebody went as far as to sentence them to 5 years in jail. And such is the flawed circular logic David Simon is alluding to. People aren't going to stop taking or selling drugs just because the punishment has gotten more extreme. Such only serves to demonise people like Snot Boogie further. And this everybody knows. Yet for whatever reason we carry on doing it because that's the way it's always been done.
No shit. Fucking knew there was still some real criminals left in Baltimore.
Now, before I close out this video, I feel I need to share a quote by David Simon which I feel best explains this scene. The America of The Wire is broken, in a fundamental, probably irreparable way. It's an interconnected network of ossified institutions, all of them so committed to perpetuating their own business-as-usual approach that they keep letting their own equivalents of Snot Boogie into the game, simply because that's how it's always been done. It doesn't matter that it makes no sense. Only a rugged, individualist, cocky narcissist like McNulty would even think to suggest that things could and should be run differently.